Welcome to the Gigs Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Sanz, founder and CEO of Gigs, the professional career platform for the live event industry. On this podcast, we are talking to the very best in the live event and touring industry to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the unreal moments of life gigging on the road and lessons learned. And today we have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Sooner Rae Routhier, renowned principal designer who is a 2-time Parnelli Live Design Achievement, Live Production Summit Pinnacle, and multi-Top Dog award-winning designer. Her designs can be seen on Jimmy Fallon, the AMAs, The Ellen Show, SNL, The Voice, the Billboard Music Awards, and she's crafted iconic shows for artists such as Coldplay, Green Day, The Weeknd, Noah Kahan, Imagine Dragons, the Lumineers, Megan Thee Stallion, and many more, thousands more. Beyond her creative genius, Sooner has also been a driving force in shaping the modern landscape of entertainment, lighting, and design. Sooner, welcome to the Gigs Podcast. Oh my gosh. So you just got back from Europe. You were with Coldplay.
Yeah.
What is your life? What are you, this is insane. I mean, Coldplay is known, it has this reputation of one of the greatest shows ever because of the design, because of everything. Can we talk about, just start there? What were you doing in Europe with them?
Well, I'm really, really lucky because I get to collaborate with incredible people for that one. So Misty Buckley is a production designer who has become my sister, basically. Like, we are just this awesome little happy family of love and creativity. And then Phil Harvey, obviously, is the creative director and manager. But we just have a great time, like, making that show happen. And I got to be in Rome for the start of this leg of the European tour that they just kicked off, and get some new songs programmed in. And yeah, it was really fun.
And this is lighting design you're doing with them?
Yep, lighting design for Coldplay, yep.
If we could just start with that, what does that mean? You know, you get this gig, you meet with, I want to hear like what that whole process looks like to show one.
Okay, so essentially got contacted by Misty and Phil and asked if I would be interested in being the lighting designer for Coldplay, which was an absolute freak out moment for me. And, you know, once we started, it's really just lots of meetings and checking out their drawings and what the concept's going to be for the show, and just figuring out how to light the band and light the scenic and just create some really beautiful lighting moments for the music, you know, that matches the music, that provides the emotion for the audience. Also, a really big factor of it is making sure that you can see the audience really well. They want to see like all the way up at the top of the stadium, right? So there's a lot of audience light planning that goes into that as well. So, yeah.
You are performing with them. I mean, this is part of the whole performance. When an artist gets lighting for the first time, there's something that completely shifts in their performance, I feel like. So you're highlighting the audience, who's also a part of this whole performance. You're highlighting them in certain ways. Can I call out colors and you tell me the vibe it gives to you?
Color is such a massive part of my life, honestly.
Okay, can we do this real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, my mom was a seamstress.
Okay.
And she actually worked in a fabric store in our little town of Newport, Vermont for a long time. And I used to go to the store with her and, you know, hang out. And my favorite thing about being in that store was like looking at all the fabric colors, and specifically the embroidery floss shell. You know what I'm talking about when you go into like a craft store and you see all the embroidery floss? It's just like laid out in this rainbow. And I just always loved color. And then I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was in high school, but I wanted to study in the coral reefs because of the color.
Wow.
And so I actually kind of just realized this like within the past 3 years or so, actually, kind of when I started working for Coldplay, because what's really fun about their shows is that there's just lots of rainbows. It doesn't have to be like full on Roy G. Biv rainbow, but it can be, it's just like, it's a very colorful experience. And that's what makes that light show, is just using color in a really unique way. And there's a lot of color on that stage, but how can you do it so that when it all mixes together, it doesn't look brown, right? Because when you add light color, it just becomes a big mishmash mess. But honestly, color is probably one of the biggest part of my creative journeys, I guess, because a lot of times like we do storytelling in a show. We'll split it up into acts. So even when I'm doing production design, like the full design, so all the lighting and the video content and the scenic and the special effects and the automation and the show direction, when we're doing that as a team, we try to plan that out into different acts. And a lot of times there's a color story that accompanies that.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, like this is the act that's going to be all about fire and edgy, and it's going to be all reds and fuchsias and ambers and, and then we'll go into the next act, which is going to be prettier and like more cyan and yellow and baby blues and pinks. And yeah, so we really try to plan out color stories along with our show direction.
And you have no idea, the audience has no idea how your color and the way that you're doing the intensity of it is making them feel something different with the music.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny because I didn't even know that this term existed until I think back in 2018 or something. Oh God, that's 6 years ago. I found out about the term synesthesia. Oh. So a lot of people associate one sense with another, and it's called synesthesia. So when you're listening to music, you might see a color in your brain.
Yes.
I definitely have that. And I didn't realize I had that until an artist that I was working with at the time, actually Alessia Cara, pointed it out. Wow. And she's like, I have a color for every song. And she said, I have synesthesia and I need to have a color associated with every song. And I'm like, I do that. Yeah, it's interesting. I also see it with numbers, like like 1 is red, 3 is black.
Whoa.
4 is like a gold. Yeah, it's really weird.
Okay, so what if yours is different than the artist's?
It's interesting. I mean, I always it's fine. Like if they say they need a song to be blue, it's not a big deal. Like we just make it blue.
Okay.
And I'm like, I thought it was red, but it's fine. And eventually, I mean, a lot of times it just molds and I just end up seeing that song as that color anyway, right?
Whoa.
And yeah, and I think it definitely changes with mood sometimes. So, and like what's going on in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, does that ever influence the way you design? If like how you are personally feeling and what a song is doing to you? Do you first start with like the set list?
And we try.
Whoa.
It's hard because, an artist it's hard to get a set list really early on, right? It definitely makes the show way more planned and way more structured, which can work for some artists and doesn't work for others, right? We like to get it right up as soon as possible so we can actually plan out the moments because you need to have pacing in a show, right? You don't want it to be like everything's happening at the top of the show and then there's nothing going on for the rest, right? You want to pace it out and have moments of excitement. So you want to have a huge intro and then kind of let the audience chill for a second and then come in with another big moment and maybe take it down a notch to an acoustic set and then come back up again. And so we like to get the set list ahead of time. And when we have it, we can plan out things like color and what that structure is. But it doesn't happen all the time.
Okay, you're talking about really big moments. Yeah. What are big moments and what are soft moments in lighting design?
Well, in lighting design, I mean, a big moment could just be like all the lights on in white and lighting up the audience, right? And that could be really bright and just like kind of jarring. And a soft moment could be just taking a performer and pinging them with a light just like way up high over their right or left shoulder and just one, and that's all you've got. It's just that light on. Wow. So yeah, I mean, it depends. And sometimes that moment will feel bigger than the moment when you light up the crowd. It really is like a marriage of the music mixed with the visuals, right? Because I mean, if you're thinking about this, when you're watching a movie, if you have like an explosion and a crazy action scene happening with like a Marvel Comics figure going, blah, but in the soft background, you've got like a really soft music. It's not going to feel like the same moment. Yeah. So it's kind of like the same thing. You really need to have you have to have a marriage of those two things.
And that's why we're going to get into it, but like during the show, it's actual cues of each different, when they say, oh, hey, bow.
Yeah, totally.
Lights are black.
Yeah. And it's not always that way. There are definitely artists that are very off the cuff, and you have to have a person that's like operating the show that can actually move with the music and play the lighting console or, video console as well, right? Because that's all cued. Special effects, you have to have somebody who's actually playing along with them and like feeling what they're feeling on stage. I definitely still do shows where it's manually operated and it's not time coded.
Whoa.
We just did too.
Really?
Spring. Yeah.
This morning, what'd you say?
Spring.
This spring.
This
Jeez.
past spring.
We did 2 this morning.
Yeah, let's do this morning. Yeah. No.
Dang. Okay,
Yeah.
so also, are you involved with like lasers? Is that you? Lighting?
I don't know how to program them, nor
Okay.
am I like, I'm not, like I'm not, you have to have like you have to be able to permit it and you have to be trained and everything. I'm not trained.
Got it. Okay.
I can be like, hey, it'd be really cool if we did a moment like this.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'll envision things and we work with the laser team. Yeah, I mean, Coldplay's full on got a special effects designer, right? That's part of the creative team. So
Got it.
we just work together to cultivate those moments all together, right? It's just collaboration is a word that's used constantly, and I'm sure that my team is so annoyed because I use it all the time. But it really is all about that. Like you really have to like collaborate with everybody to make it happen because especially in a show like that, you know, there's like 170 crew members and
Wow.
there's so many different departments. Like you can't be in charge of all of them easily. Yeah.
So you're doing mostly, you know, the pre-production, getting it all ready for this show to go out, and you'll usually go to the first week of the shows to make sure, and rehearsals, right? Okay,
Yep.
so I guess we didn't even get there. So you got to where you're planning it out, you're feeling the music, and then you're going into rehearsals. How does that collaboration work when you're there?
The first step is like once you plan it out and you get all your plots together and you get your gear list together and you get your vendors in line and the gear is kind of like getting ready to go into rehearsals, we go into a previs studio, which is essentially just, I call it the nerds. I love them so much. We go into a studio and we pre-program everything.
Okay.
And what that does is it allows us to really get the show ready to go. So when we get in rehearsals, we're not spending a week of time just programming because it's expensive to rent venues. It's expensive to have the crew and the gear out there. So we want to try to get as much done as possible on the front end so that when we do get into rehearsals, it's ready to go.
Got it.
So that can be, I mean, anywhere. Like I've prevised for over a month to like 3 days, right? It depends on the size of the show and what you need to have done. And also depends on how many weeks of rehearsals you have. Because if you do have like a month of rehearsals, then you can get a lot of that stuff done over that month.
Got it.
And so once we get previs done, then we go into rehearsals. We have to take that file and we have to make it work in the real world, which takes, 2 to 3 days. And then, we work with the artists and make sure the show is operating properly for them, do their notes, and then go like hell.
Okay, wow. So previs, is that your team doing it, or are you working with the different vendors for that too?
It's usually just, it's our team. It's usually we'll hire a lighting and video programmer that are also like as integral as we are to the show because they have to be very musical and they have to understand, okay, I'm hearing this snare hit and it needs to be a short snap of a light, right? That's popping on and off, or I'm hearing a kick drum and it has a decay. So like they have to be the people that are artistically interpreting that music. Amazing lighting programmer is super musical and can just like get stuff into the console according to like your generic direction for each song. Whoa. And then you go back and you watch it and you give notes and you work on it together after that. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're an integral part of the show for sure.
Okay, wow. So you're then you just go, okay, we're all ready to go. How are those first few shows? How is that, for the engineers to have, it's the first time you have all your cues. Can you talk about creating cue cards and what kind of the software, the technology works?
Yeah, it's not cue cards, but it's like, it's all just in the console, right?
You can't tell I've never done lighting.
And it's totally fine. You're good. It's fine. It's all in the screen. Like it's in the console. Like you pre-program the looks and then they like, sometimes it'll just be on like individual faders and they'll just run those up and down. But most of the time, I'd say probably 98% of the time we have like what's called a cue stack. And it's just on the screen, it runs and you're like, oh, intro, verse, chorus, pre-chorus. You know what I mean? Like it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all know these songs.
Yeah. I mean, you have to study them pretty hardcore before you get... Like honestly, when you're researching an artist to do a design right from the get-go, Yeah. I was listening to a metal band yesterday over and over and over again. And around like 5:30, my husband comes home from work and he's like, what is happening in this house? Because it's just like blaring metal on our system.
my gosh. You're getting into it. What colors did you see with those right off the bat?
All of them, everything. Not all together.
Okay.
Very much like monochromatic songs, right? But yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. I could just keep going forward, but I want to go back to you started 1999 as a lighting tech.
Yep.
Is that right? What drew you to this world in the first place?
Theater, honestly. I did a lot of like stock theater stuff when I was a kid, like elementary school through middle school. I was like in the choir in the musical, or to have like small parts or whatever in the summer. And then I kind of did a little bit of tech crew stuff there. Like I like helped out with some of the set building, and then would come in and help some of the tech stuff out. Like, I don't know, when I got into high school. And then I really loved dance. And I tried doing dance class, but I'm really bad at dance. So my first mentor, honestly, in my life, Sherry Skordal, my dance teacher, kind of was like, hey, you should try the tech crew and you can get extra credit if you do this. And then all of a sudden I was like dancing on stage and running backstage to do the lighting board for so that's where I really fell in love with it. And then I saw my first concert and I was like, nope, that's what I want to do.
What was it?
Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy in the Infinite Sadness Tour.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that was it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you studied in college?
I did. So I went to a small liberal arts school up in northern Vermont and got like an associate's degree in general studies. But what was great about that school, mentor number 2, Jan Herder, he was the technical director of the theater, and he allowed me to be on the lighting console every single day.
Wow.
And that's where I met, there was a regional company that provides lighting and sound in New Hampshire that came up to do like a spring fling or a fall concert or something at that school. And I was such a nerd about color. I knew all my gels, all the lighting gel numbers. And
what is that?
So like the gel is like, this is dating myself, but it's a colored piece of film that goes in front of a light.
Got it.
To color it right. So I knew all the numbers. It's like a paint swatch book, right? And I was the third mentor, Brian Clark. He had labeled his lighting console with like the numbers instead of like, it didn't say RGB. It would be like 27, 91, 181 or whatever. And when he asked me to run the lighting console, he said, hey, can you pull up the red fader? And I was like, 27. And he was like, how'd you know that? And it's just, that was it. Nice. And so I told him I wanted to tag along, and I ended up working with that company, for like 5 years after that. So, and that's how I got my first tour. And yeah.
Who was the first tour?
Chevelle. Well, actually, no, I lie. My first tour ever was the Irish Tenors.
Sick.
As a lighting tech.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What kind of show was that?
It was in amphitheaters. It was actually like the best schedule ever, because they would have like sometimes 2 days off in a row. I think the very first shows were even like postponed, and I ended up being in LA for a week off I'd never been to LA. So this was, so it was nice.
That's
I used to call it like a country club tour or whatever. Just had so much time to chill, and like met some amazing people out there that, taught me a lot, guided me.
Wow.
And then the next tour was Chevelle as a lighting operator.
Okay, what's the difference?
Chevelle is like a...
Oh, I'm so sorry. The positions that you were doing.
So lighting tech is setting up lights, making sure they're working, loading them in, loading them out. Lighting operator, at that time, like I was also teching the lights. So that's when you're actually operating the lights.
Got it. And how is that, is teching different from lighting director?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Sometimes you have to have both jobs. It depends on the size of the tour. Sometimes you're the lighting director who's operating the lights. Lighting operator and director are usually a term that's used synonymous. They're the same position, basically the same position. Just some people like to be called a director, and some people like to be called an operator. I didn't
it's like
care.
Assistant versus coordinator.
Yeah, it's
Really.
I personally don't see a difference in them, but I've definitely been told like, no, I'm a director. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so a tech is the one that's setting it up. Lighting director is the one operating.
Got it.
Sometimes you have to be a lighting tech and a lighting director when you're starting out, because that position, there's not many lights on stage. They're not going to hire somebody to set them up for you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, and then that helps you learn.
Exactly. I think it's important. It's like, a carpenter needs to know how to use a hammer. So a lighting director should know how to use a moving light and the inner workings of it and how it gets cabled and what you're asking your techs, you know what I mean?
Right, so that you can be that leader when ultimately then you become just the LD.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
And so what is, and I know obviously very little about this, but I do know that lighting is always the first one and last one's out, besides, production. But why?
Because it's above the stage, so like anything that needs to be set up underneath, you can't, you know what I mean? Like you gotta get the stuff under there. So if your stuff's all set up on the stage and the lighting trusses have to be set up, it's just like literally
You're
a layer.
audio.
It's like, sorry, I just bumped the mic.
You're above audio and video.
Yeah, I mean it. Like every load-in's different, right? And it depends on what. Like if you're in a club, you might not be hanging lights, so you can set up your lights on the floor while the rest of the gear is getting set up. If you're in an arena, the first thing that goes out is the rigging because you need to hang the stuff. So that happens early. That's the first stuff in. And then, you're working in tangent with lighting, or video, lighting, and audio to hang the gear. It's just, this is a whole ballet that I don't even have skin in the game to even talk about because there's people much smarter than I am that do this and create the logistics to make it all happen. But it's definitely like it's a dance between departments. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wild. So then you had your first lighting operator. Where did you go after that?
I just continued working for that band for,
and you were working right for the band, not for a vendor?
Yeah, okay. No, that was the first time ever working for a band directly.
Got it.
And I just kept growing. I obviously like to talk, guys. Don't know if you've noticed. So I just kept networking with people. So like Chevelle did a bunch of festivals and I would always just try to talk to the headlining LDs and production team, and they eventually met a business partner of mine, and we ended up doing tours together, and then we ended up designing tours together and creating a company together, and and it just kind of kept growing, right? Like it's all about really networking and making sure that you're always working hard, like making sure that you're the person that's helping out. Even like I used to always just go and like watch the headlining act and like helping the LDs tip the console, or even helping some of the audio guys out, like I'll jump on stage and coil some mic cables. I'm not above that. It's fine. I actually like coiling cable, but
I'm really bad
kind of
at
a crazy person, but like you're really
I'm really bad at it. It's really embarrassing. Anyways, different world for me. I wasn't in that world.
That's good.
Okay, so you go, it's all about, first one in, last one out. Yep. You are getting to know everybody. So how did that help you start design companies so that, how are you getting clients?
Just talking.
Okay.
And I mean, just always keeping in touch with people. Because you never know. And taking meetings, always take the meeting. Somebody told me that once. I can't remember who. Somebody said that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important just to like keep your network up and to keep hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you hustling. And do you feel like you got to a point where you could finally start saying no to certain gigs, or are you still in the philosophy of let's get a bigger team, let's make it happen?
We definitely say no to gigs. If it's not the right fit, we shouldn't be doing it. And also, I've definitely been in calls, even just like 3 months ago, where it's like, they're asking us to do something that it's like, you can definitely hire somebody that's going to be less expensive and a better fit than we are. And so we'll suggest other people for those roles. Yeah.
What does a fit mean for this?
Let's see, that example in particular, they were looking for me to come in and program and operate their show. And I don't do that anymore. I don't tour anymore, right? But they were looking for somebody who could play designer on the road with them.
Oh.
And somebody who could actually change the show in real time with them, basically like manually operated, like be able to work with the artist every day to like really get in with whatever cueing they need for certain songs. Like they're changing the set lists up, they might have certain requests. And so, I just suggested a lighting programmer who has great design skills who still wants to tour. And yeah.
Can you talk about the difference between manual and pre-programmed?
So everything's pre-programmed.
Okay.
But it's about operation.
Okay.
So there's this thing called time code. Plug a cable into the back of the console. It comes from the Trax rig. It runs this really terrible sounding.
Can you talk about what a
stuff.
Trax rig is?
Oh boy. Probably not smartly.
Okay.
Smartly, intelligently. Nope. It is. They play the backing tracks. Sometimes it's just a click track for the drummer to listen to.
This is audio
or it
world.
could be audio, musical direction,
Got it.
kind of sway into that a little bit. It's basically it's the tracks. It's like the electronic stuff underneath the music that isn't played on stage, essentially. Some people don't even like to admit that they have them. But yeah, so essentially, like I said, it could just be a click, but there's a track of this terrible sounding noise that you program to. You don't listen to the noise. This is really hard to explain, and everybody's gonna laugh at me when they're listening to this, and I'm fine with that. It's okay. But it basically is underneath the music, and you don't, like I said, you don't hear it, but as you're programming, you're recording the cues, and then when they're playing it back in the show, it's playing those cues back according to the way that you recorded them.
Got it.
Manual is like listening to the music, 1, 2, 3, 4, hit a button.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that just an artist's preference of how they want that, person to?
Yeah, some people don't want the structure of having tracks and time code and having it just like, because it's dead on the beat. Like it's.
Got it. Okay. I know I'm getting into nitty gritty,
Right,
but
it's super nitty
I'm
gritty. It's
super
fine though. I'm
fascinated.
happy to talk about it. It's cool. I just might not be super smart about some of them, but I will try my hardest.
I think as soon as you start hearing more and more lingo and getting, okay, that's what that really is. Like, it took me a very long time to understand what a truss was.
Yeah.
And I think just the more you hear the lingo, you have a better time, especially if you're on your first tour.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we talk about maybe the difference in vibe of like a Coldplay versus a TV set? So like you did SNL, you did like, first of all, how do you get those shows, and how do you set up this stuff?
So touring, so like Coldplay, Green Day, Noah, Kahan, that's all. Like most of that stuff has always been, we've done the big part. The bulk of our world is doing the tour, right, and getting their show off the ground that way. Artists will get asked to do promo gigs, and they'll get asked to do SNL appearances or the Tonight Show or whatever.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they'll ask the creative team to come in to do a creative treatment for it. So
cool.
And the difference between designing for an audience and your eyeballs and designing for your TV is essentially like when you're thinking about designing for something for a show, you're really just like looking at what the camera is seeing. So like you could have like a whole hot mess happening outside of camera, but they're not seeing it. So you're really just like designing for what is coming out of that lens, essentially. If that makes sense.
Is it different than?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
It's completely different, but it's fun because you're designing for a moment that is happening just like that, right? You're designing for something that's going to be filmed and then edited and then put on TV.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, but a concert tour has a live aspect. So you're just like, you're designing for,
and the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is an example of something that would be different for, say, Kimmel versus a live show in an arena?
Lighting for one thing is very different. When you're designing for a stadium show or an arena show, you really need a lot of spotlights to like make sure that they're picking the audience out or the artists out off the stage for the audience to see, and to make sure that you can see them properly on the IMAX screens. But you can get a lot more artistic with the lighting on TV because, you can be a little bit more shadowy now that the cameras are really beautiful these days, and they can really, they can manage different light levels a lot better than they used to be able to. So you can just get really artistic with it, right? It's not like you're just having to light them for the audience to be able to see them the entire night. So yeah, and it's also about environment and what the background is, right? Like, what is it? Just like completely black, and you're just seeing this artist like kind of come through in the camera, like with like a really beautiful side light, or are you painting the environment behind them so that the cameras have a lot of camera candy.
Camera candy.
Yeah, camera candy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez, this is just a whole different world. Wow. Okay. Do you remember a moment in your career at any stage where you really messed up and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to ever happen again?
I try to forget those moments, so I don't really remember any of them. I mean, I definitely, like, when I was manually operating shows, I maybe like think that the song's gonna end and hit blackout before it ends, and then have to quickly turn lights back up. But I can't really think of anything that's like super crazy.
Yeah,
That's like probably the worst that I can think of now.
So it'll all go black. They're still playing, and then you have to
and then like getting called out from the stage, like, you guys paying attention out there? You're like, oh, yeah, I am. I just thought you were ending the song earlier.
Okay, yeah. What if they don't go by the script and they're just keep going? I mean,
that's the beauty of a live show.
Yeah,
you're
in it with them.
Yeah, and I think that's important to have those moments, because then people realize it's not scripted and no one's just like lip syncing the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
Wild.
I think mistakes actually, like, if you can be like gracious about it and like accept that you made a mistake and like just move on and like just don't do it again. I think there's something beautiful about seeing that, because it's the live component that a lot of people just like miss out on,
And also you don't even, I don't think people really realize what all is going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
So there's like the new technology, and again, forgive me, I really don't know much about this, but learning. So like Follow Me is like a newer technology, right? For spotlight on.
Yeah, so essentially it's spotlight tracking. There's different versions. There's ones where it looks like somebody's playing a video game out back, and it's like full on thing, and they're like following. There's still hands that are like following this little cross point at the performer, and then there's others where you put trackers on the wardrobe and it follows. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, there's several different types.
Wait. Okay. You put the tracker, and then how does the light itself is tracking it?
Yeah, this once again is technology.
Okay, sorry.
I do not feel comfortable talking about, because I ain't got a clue. But it's like it's a camera attached to the light. The camera it has to be like calibrated. Like you have to be calibrated during the day, and then there's a whole person on Coldplay that deals with that, right? Like just as that. So
okay, we won't need that.
Yeah, it's
wild.
Crazy. Yeah, the tech is like insane. Like, this is something that I need to get the nerds on to discuss with you if you would like to get into the nitty gritty of it.
Okay, we'll get anyone lighting nerd.
Yeah,
we'll get it.
No
perfect.
problem. I got you right down the street. My buddy Matt Geesey on it.
Love it. Okay, done. Let's talk about the playground. What inspired you to create this company, and where are you with it now? How long have you been doing it?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's like a year and a half in the making.
Wow.
I didn't really think that I was gonna start another creative design company, but in 2021, I think it was, I was working on some Coldplay stuff, and I was starting to design for some other artists, and this thing kept happening where managers and event producers, because it happened with a corporate event too, would call me and ask me if I would like to collaborate with a different designer to make a show happen.
Whoa.
And it happened like 3 or 4 times, and it was a really fun process, because you're collaborating with people that are typically even your competitors, right? But like, we all get along. So to make this really cool stuff. And so I just sort of like started ideating, and I was talking to my friends about it a little bit. And one day my friend Curtis Adams and my friend Aaron Luke were sitting outside of a hotel and discussing like names, and Aaron came up with the playground, and Curtis was like, that's dope. You need that one. I was like, okay, cool. So we called it the playground, and it's essentially a co-op, I guess. It's not exactly a co-op, because you can't really have a co-op in Tennessee. I don't think that the legal entity exists unless you're an agricultural business. We could potentially just grow wheatgrass, I guess, on all of our desks, and maybe, but
in agriculture, yeah,
exactly. So essentially, different designers or creative directors or choreographers or producers or whatever will come together, and for each project, and we share in the resources, we share in the expenses, we share in the profits according to what, percentage of workload and time commitment is put into it for each person. And yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting concept. It's working really well. The way we brand it is like when we work with a different design company, it's like the Playground X, whatever other design company is involved. And it's been really fun. It's been a year and a half old at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When you said choreographers, is that movement choreographer or like lighting?
Yeah, like
choreographer?
Dancers. Yeah.
You're kind of a lighting choreographer.
I guess.
No, anyways. So how does that work? For example, let's say it's Coldplay have who do you work with that has dancers?
Well, I mean, we just did Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah.
So collaborated with Jaquel Knight.
Whoa.
He was amazing. He does Beyonce as well. That was great. We did Daddy Yankee with Luther, who that was amazing. He's part of the Playground team for that too. The thing is, like, it's all about just like communication and having like a nice safe space to create in. So like no one's ideas are dumb, right?
Whoa.
No one gets ridiculed. Everybody's just like comes together to talk through things. And so we just have creative calls every week once a project is launched, and we talk through it, and we, hey, I thought about this thing last night. Well, I was on my run, and what if we did this? And then you talk about it and you add it into the show, or you don't if it doesn't make sense. So choreographers are amazing because a lot of them are actually creative directors as well, right?
Wow,
so,
yeah.
which both Jaquel and Luther are. And so they often come to the table with ideas that are very different and are outside the box that you wouldn't think about as a production designer. And so, as a team, we come together to figure out how to make those happen and how to structure the production elements around it to make it even better. And
wow.
Yeah.
What's one of the craziest, like, oh my gosh, can we pull that off? If we pull that off, that'd be so sick. Like, what are some examples?
Last November, we did a drag race above the audience with a shell of a Ferrari and a shell of a Lamborghini.
For who?
Daddy Yankee.
Oh my gosh.
To the song Gasolina from Fast and the Furious.
Of course.
It was great. Yeah.
Okay, how do you get a car? How do you get a track? What's going on? Can we talk about how you did this?
I mean, it's pretty extensive, but essentially, like, there are shells of cars, right? So you get the model, and the scenic company builds it. But like my friend Curtis, who I already talked about, he was one of the also collaborators. That Curtis and Trevor were on that project, and they both really worked hard to like get the paint jobs figured out, and like. Yeah, and then there's just these huge platforms. This is like lowered slowly over the audience, and like we had sound effects and pyro on it, and like they squealed and ran down to the other end. And
whoa,
it was funny because every night a different car would win, and we wouldn't be able to. Like it was actually a drag race. Like we would actually place bets on which one would win, but. Wow. It was like a 5-show residency in Puerto Rico in the arena there. So it was able to like load in tech,
live,
program, and live. Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
Does the automation team handle that?
Yeah, the automation and rigging team handled that part. And then, we had a special effects team to do the special effects, and then obviously lighting to do lighting for it, and
collaboration. I mean, you're just having these wild visions. When you're listening to music and you're inspired, where do you find inspiration?
Everywhere. TV, storefronts, galleries, shows, everything.
Have you ever dreamt one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep. I definitely have done that. Yeah.
What's another most recent one that I mean, this is anything from like, a drummer being on a riser and spinning and that kind of, like, what are other movements on the stage? Are you as a production designer
for automation
or just anything? I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, anything, honestly, like the intro of the show is always really important. So what's that going to be like? Is it going to be like a curtain that comes down and then you just light them from behind to create these huge shadows before the curtain falls, right? That's a kabuki.
Okay.
Or is it going to be, this crazy video intro and then all of a sudden a lift comes up and the performer's on the lift and silhouetted, and then, you know what I mean? It can be anything. And honestly, like everything has to be so custom and so tailored to what the artist wants, what the music is, what the branding for the, what they're putting out in the space with their tour or their album or single or whatever. Like it's all so custom built, you know, that, it's hard to pinpoint. Like there's just so many moments that we've created over the years in production design that, wow. I mean, we just did Megan Thee Stallion. So we had like this like coil of light come down around her while she performed. And, and there's a video floor underneath her. So as she's like staring up, there's a camera like pointing down at her, and you can see the snake coiling underneath her while she's got this coil of light around her, you know, things like that. Like,
so cool.
But it's all driven by like the music. Like you wouldn't want to do something sexy and beautiful like that to something that's like just heavy metal, you know?
You're right.
Yeah.
You can't get bored in this job. It's also every
definitely
time.
Not.
Yeah. So let's talk about your workload. How many projects are you working on at a time?
We definitely have busy seasons. So I think we just got done doing 12 through the spring. So it's like,
How big's your team?
Well, it's not, because there's nobody on the play. There's only one full-time employee. Like I'm not even an employee of the playground. Like I founded the company, but like the playground pays my company. And then the playground pays other collaborators, companies, right? Like there's only one full-time employee, and she's a producer. So soon to be two, because we're growing.
Yay.
And so I guess, I don't know. What was the question again? Sorry.
How many are you, how do you juggle it?
Oh, how do we juggle it? Okay.
Especially I remember we talked about this another time where some artists could give you all the stuff way in advance, and some where you are just, racing the clock.
Yeah. Everything's always in a different state of development. And we, honestly, like if there's two projects going on at the same time, it's not going to be the same team working on each one. And if it is, then like one person is doing all the pre-production setup, and then another person's actually going on the site while the other person's going on the site, the other job, right? Like you're doing this. It really does. Like the schedule ends up working out. But I mean, if we're too busy, we say no.
Got it.
I mean, because there's a power in that, right? And like not overcommitting yourself and not burning yourself out, as in burning out your resources. So, and we definitely did say no to some stuff in the spring, you know? Yeah.
And 12 projects. Jesus.
Yeah.
Are you going to all of these? Like
No, definitely not.
Okay. That's what you got team for. And
yeah. Well, it's not the team. It's like basically like each project has a different set of collaborators. So I might not be on that team of collaborators. It might be, two other production designers that are doing it. So they're doing that, but the company is still producing the gig, right, with them.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning a lot about mentors by name. You remember all your mentors.
Yeah.
And that's like the total, I would say, the most important thing of this industry.
Yeah.
Having
100%.
those mentors.
Yeah.
Do you remember a moment when like it flipped where you're like, oh my God, I'm the mentor now? How like, and then what types of, mentees, what are you looking for? Who catches your eye of someone who's really special?
People who just email me or message me.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. Like I answer every one of them.
Wow.
And I try to set up calls or I try to have them send me questions in email and I'll answer them. It's every time. I still feel like I get mentored by people. So I guess I do mentor people, but I still feel like I'm also mentored. I feel like you always find them. And I guess I don't really know I don't know, honestly. I guess I'm not that like observant when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens
You
organically.
just know
and then
stuff now. You need to get it out.
Yeah. We did start a nonprofit organization in 2020 called Even that is like just getting, we just finished our first application process. And basically it's creating paid apprenticeship positions in our industry.
Wow.
Specifically in the state of California right now, but it will open up to, the rest of the country next year.
Wow. How did you get involved in this and why?
It's just during the pandemic, my friend Seth Robinson and I, amongst a lot of other people, we were just, what can we do to help? And we were basically doing this small thing called Live from Nowhere, which is trying to get groceries on people's tables, essentially. Like we would have artists come and answer questions, and then hopefully they generate some funds. And then all the civil unrest happened in May. And we kind of took a step back and said, there's got to be something long-term that we can do because, you know, we just knew the industry was going to come back. Like, there's no way. It's too big. It's not going anywhere. And we sort of took a step back and we were like, well, our industry is not going to come back with the workforce that it started with because a lot of people like found that home life was actually where they wanted to be. So we lost a lot of touring personnel.
Yep.
And so we were trying to figure out a way to just kind of help, like how can we bring it back? And I just remember I didn't understand that this business existed even when I was doing lighting for theater because I was in the middle of nowhere, Vermont. Like it was like a 2.5, 3 hour drive just to see a concert.
Yep.
So when I said I wanted to be a lighting designer to my parents for rock bands, they're like, you can't do that. That's not a job. That's like something friends do for their friends. And I'm like, no, it is. It's a career. I promise you.
Might have started out that way.
Yeah.
But look at the shows now.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a career. Yep.
Yeah. So obviously there's not a lot of, I mean, we're supposed to be behind the scenes, right? Like that's the whole point of our jobs. So like there's not really an eye on what we do. And so it's hard to get into the industry if you don't even know it exists. So part of our plan in 2020 was like, okay, let's just like explain that these career paths exist. And then as we kept thinking about it, it was like, well, we can build our business up in a more diverse manner if we actually like expand to people that don't know that these career paths exist. So like, let's do that. So we ended up building this basics program, which was based off 4 pillars. It's community engagement to explain they exist, then an educational platform to, you know, show like these are all the jobs you can do. It's a very basic understanding of what all the jobs are. Pairing them with a mentor once they understand like what way they want to go into, and then putting them into a apprenticeship program with a vendor. So that has since developed into working with the California government to create this registered apprenticeship program, which is now launching this fall.
Congratulations.
So, thanks. It's crazy.
This is a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, 4 years.
What does EVEN stand for?
Oh God, Events Vocational. I need to write that down. Events Vocational Education Network. I think yes. Events Vocational Education Network. We've said
Fabulous.
EVEN so long that it's like really hard to even just remember what it is.
But, I mean, congratulations.
Thanks.
That is. Are you going? If it's starting in California, you're starting in the high school system and colleges.
Yeah, we've actually been working with some high schools and getting people in the door, and then also huge. Community colleges. But honestly, like we've had people from all walks of life apply for it, which is great. Like kind of right now, you got to be over the age of 18 because if you end up touring, like you can't necessarily tour unless you're 18. Maybe you can.
I think 18 is the yeah.
So but honestly, like we're anybody who wants to start in the business. Just,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you follow that on social media?
Yeah, it's the EVEN Network.
Great.
And the evennetwork.org is the website. Yeah.
Incredible.
And we need donations. So if anybody wants to donate.
EVEN Network, baby. Okay. Well, we'll put that in our show notes and everything. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's hard. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So that's, I mean, that just stems from that's mentorship to an even broader degree, broader level, bringing people in.
Yeah.
When someone reaches out and you are amazing and answer everybody, what is the first thing you tell them about how to get in besides, you got to know the right people? Like what is the first thing that you kind of give advice about?
Yeah. There's got to be a little bit of, I always say like try to figure out what path you want to be in, right? Because it's so broad. Like, hey, I want to tour with bands. Cool. There's so many different jobs. I mean, you can be an IT person on the road now, right? Like there's literal network specialists. That's all they do.
Yes.
Is set up Wi-Fi and make sure that everybody's networks are talking because there's so many networks between audio and lighting and special. It's crazy.
That job is posted on gigs all the time. By the way, I mean, people are looking for that all the time.
Yeah, it's a big one because everything's so high tech now. You really need it, and if that network goes down, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always just ask like, what is the route you want to go? Like, are you interested in lighting? Are you interested in video? Are you interested in whatever? And once we figure out like kind of like where they're going, I usually just start by pairing them with professionals that know already, like are already doing it. So. if they're interested in being a lighting programmer, I will pair them with a lighting programmer. I'll say, hey, just talk to this person first. And then, or like send them down, like give them all the YouTube videos and tell them the applications to download to start learning. And or like, you know, go be a stagehand in a venue for a bit and just learn the ropes that way first. And always ask questions and always network and make sure that you're keeping in touch with people. Yeah.
So you think that's important to especially with in lighting and production, to be a stagehand, just to like get actual hands-on experience with this?
I think so. And I also think it's a good way to understand what all the different departments do and how they work together, right? Like
dance.
Yeah, because if you're working on the electrics crew one day, but then you're working with the audio crew another day and you find that, oh, I really love audio. This is cool. Like that person's mixing that music and it's really cool. Or like that person's like making sure that artists on stage can hear themselves really well. Like that's cool. I want to do that. Right. Like it's just
totally.
I think it's important for people to figure out what that pathway is, like what they want to do. Yeah.
What is the biggest risk that you've taken in your career?
Biggest risk? Ooh. I guess my parents would be like, what? When I was in college, I started driving 3.5 hours south to the Boston area to work with that vendor that I first started with, New England Audio Tech Rainbow Concert Productions. And I mean, they started hiring me for the weekend, and I would drive down there after class on a Friday, do a show on a Saturday, do a show on a Sunday. And after that show is done at 1:00 in the morning and loaded out, I would drive 3.5 hours back through rural Vermont.
Wow.
Really rural Vermont to school to take class at 8:00 the next morning. Yep.
And did you do it because you loved it or you knew that's what you just had to do?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw some stuff on those highways.
I bet. It gets cold up there too, some icy roads.
Yeah, I would always try to be careful. I mean, when you're growing up there, you have winter tires and you have all-wheel drive, you know?
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, there's times I'd see like cars coming at me on the highway in like the passing lane.
Oh my gosh.
Like somebody got on the entrance the wrong way and like was...
Wow.
Yeah.
And
multiple times.
Did you enjoy those shows? Was it that exciting for you?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you were learning everything.
Yeah,
then.
absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
And it was after that you got that first job anyways, right? The connections that you made there.
Yeah, I was working with them, and then they ended up hiring me, and I worked for them for like 5 years. And then through them, I started freelancing in the New England area. I ended up transferring to Emerson College and going to school at Emerson, and then lived down in that area. And when I left New England Audio Tech to freelance in the area, and I started working with all the other companies. And there's a company called Port Lighting that got me on my first tour. So. Cool. Yeah, with Irish Tenors. Yeah,
with Irish Tenors. Yeah, so cool. I gotta look them up after this.
I know, it's funny.
We have. I want to get into just some rapid fire questions. Sure. Just kind of first thing you think of. Fun. First, wait, we might have already said this. You already said your first concert you went to, right?
Smashing Pumpkins. And the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah. Have you worked for them?
No, but they are opening for Green Day, and I get to see them for the first time since 1997 in like a week.
Whoa.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with Green Day in this in 2 weeks?
Full production design. Yeah.
Damn.
It's out. It's been out for a little while. Yeah. Myself and my collaborator, Coe, she's from Argentina. She's so badass. She's also an architect. She does opera. Oof. Brag on her a little bit. She's so cool. Yeah.
Wow. Best after show food.
Oh my God. I just love a good pizza. I'm sorry. I know that nobody likes pizza after show, but it's so good. Also, we'll do a charcuterie with some wine any day of the week. Yep.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No one says charcuterie. That's
oh my gosh.
So good. And it board. Lasts.
Yeah.
Yep. Bougie board.
Yep.
Favorite venue in the world?
Okay. The Meadowbrook Farms Amphitheater up in Guilford, New Hampshire.
Why?
Oh my God, they just do so many, they treat you right up there. I've actually haven't done a show there in ages, but that was my first, I was like the house person there for the longest time because the company that I was working for used to supply all the lighting and audio there. So I was there when it was like a truck stage in a parking lot.
Wow.
And now it's like this really cool amphitheater where they have like a pool and they do s'mores and they give you lobster and it's so cool.
Cool. Yeah. Are there any venues that you're like, oh no, I don't want to go. I don't want to play there. Or is there actually this different question?
Yeah.
Are there any venues where your vision it just doesn't really work because of the way it's laid out?
Yeah, I mean, how do I pinpoint them? When I was touring, there were definitely venues that I was like, oh my God, do we have to go there? There was this one place in Sparks, Nevada that was like a literal strip mall, and the trim was like 10 feet, and you couldn't get anything in there.
So you want height for these lights?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now it's like there's like amphitheaters that are really beautiful, and it's gorgeous to see a show in them, but you can't fit anything, and you just know if that's on the list, you're like, you're gonna have the C rig, like you're not gonna have the rig, and there's but if you design an entire tour based off of those venues, you're right. When you get into the bigger ones, you're gonna look like a postage stamp, you know. So.
Can you explain that real quick? What a C rig means versus?
So we typically do like the rig that will fit in like the majority of the stages, like, and it depends on what size show, but like that'll be like, this is the rig exactly the way it's supposed to be drawn. And then you'll do a B rig where it's maybe like things are squished in a little bit more. Maybe you're missing like a couple sections of lighting trusses or a couple, the video wall smaller or whatever. And that can sometimes be your festival rig. And then a C rig is basically like, you're getting a floor package. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And this is packed differently into trucks. So like only certain trucks go to those shows.
Oh, that's a production manager question. Hi, Amy.
I'm learning all the things.
Not that smart.
Dang. Okay. Who's the most inspiring person that you've worked for?
Oh boy. I can't pinpoint one.
That's fine.
I don't think it's possible.
Okay, that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
It's not, yeah.
Worst advice you've ever gotten in this industry?
Somebody once told me, you don't want to be a designer. You should just stick to being an operator.
Why?
I don't remember why, but
Wild.
I got told that once.
You're like, I'm sorry, I just feel color.
The next year I did like 6 designs and stopped touring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's
like, let me tell you something.
And then this might be to close it out. Can I just call out a couple colors and you tell me like what you feel with them? This might be
this might
be
a hard one. I don't know. Okay, we can try this.
This
might get cut.
All right, here we go. Orange.
An orange.
Fruit. It's with the wiggles or whatever. Purple.
Oh, purple. It makes me think of like a dark club.
Dark club.
I don't know why.
Purple.
It just does. Yeah.
All right. Yellow.
Oh, very happy.
Happy. So that's with brighter songs.
I don't like that color at all.
Favorite color? What's your favorite
like
color?
teal green or army green. You can't really do army green and light, but
right. Yeah.
My favorite lighting color combination is teal and red, funny enough.
Why?
I don't know. I just love them together. With like some deep purple as well. I love those 3 colors.
What does this color make you feel? What is this whole set?
It makes me feel like I'm on a gigs podcast.
Let's go. Sooner, thank you so much. How can people follow you and follow your work?
Oh, okay. I mean, I have an Instagram, Sooner Routhier. It's just my full name. No, beautiful. No frills. And then we've got the Playground website is theplayground.live. And our Instagram for that is the.playground.creative.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good one.
Is the
nonprofit. Yeah. And that's the evennetwork.org.
Sooner, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have so much more to talk about. We're getting you back on
here. We have
a
lot to catch up on, guys. This could have been like a 3-hour podcast.
Maybe
not about me. We just talk about her too, by the way.
We're not talking about me. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
You're amazing.